Hi guys, Chelsea from Always Thread Lightly here, and I have a project for you guys today. Today we're going to be creating these Swedish folded star ornaments. Now, whenever I look for gifts to give to people, I love to do little ornaments. They're pretty easy, quick, small, put them in a little bag, put them on the top of a gift. It's a great, easy, extra thing that you can give people. So these are really simple to make, and they use over leftover scraps. If you're like me, you probably have a ton of scraps laying everywhere in your house. Now, I'm using leftover jelly roll strips. If you've ever gone to a quilting store and you get that big old jelly roll for a project, a lot of times you have 2 or 3 or maybe even 4 leftover strips. And then you wind up having a stack of them and you have no idea what to do with them. So this project uses these strips. Now, typically, a jelly roll strip is going to be the width of the fabric. As you can see, it's quite long. Ooh, let's see if I can separate this guy here. There we go. Quite long, width of the fabric. Or I should say length of the fabric here, and this width is 2.5 inches typically. If you have a jelly roll strip that's a little wider than that or a little bit shorter, you may have to adjust accordingly. No matter what, they will fold into the same shape. They just may be a little bit bigger or a little bit smaller in size. So all you need is 4 jelly roll strips. 4 jelly roll strips like this will make 4 ornaments. So all you have to do is you take your first jelly roll strip, take a handy pair of scissors. I have my pretty swan scissors that are pretty a staple in the sewing world. And you're just going to cut them in half. There we go. So now I have 2. Now I'm going to take this one and we're going to do the same thing and cut it in half. So when you're done, you will have 4 little pieces. Now you may have one that's about 10 inches, 11 inches, maybe even 12 inches. I think mine all measured to be about 11 inches, so somewhere around there is good. If it's more like 5 inches, then you may have an issue. So once we have our 4 pieces cut out, and I want to have 4 different pieces, so like these 2 and a few others, I'm going to take them and I'm going to fold them as if they are bias strips. For binding. So I'm going to take one of my pieces, fold it in half, just like this, and then I'm going to iron that seam into place. That way it makes it a little bit easier. See, I have this pre-pressed so I can see that fold. Now I'm going to fold these raw edges towards the middle, and again, press them into place, just like that. And then once again, fold it. So it's just like making binding for quilts or pot holders or anything like that. And you're going to do that with all of your pieces until you have at least 4 different colors like that. All we have to do at this point is weave these 4. Now if you have the other 4 pieces you cut out, put them aside. You don't need them just yet. You only need these 4 for one of these stars. So let's start weaving. So I'm going to show you this first so you have something to do as a reference, and then I'm going to show you how to weave it. Now, the biggest thing when we fold these in half is you want to leave a little bit of a longer side on the underside. So when I fold these, see I have this little, it's almost about a 1/2 inch kind of left over. So I'm going to do that with my first piece and do the same thing with my second piece. Again, leave a little bit of space and we're going to start weaving them. So first, like this. There we go. I'm going to take my next piece here. Sometimes if I have a selvage edge, it kind of helps me mark of how much I want to have that overlap. I'm going to take that piece and we'll throw it right through this way. So they're starting to weave. And we're going to weave this one in as well. Come on, if I can get it in there. There. So see, I have this nice, there we go, this nice kind of little woven box. I want to pull this nice and tight. It's very important throughout this entire project to pull things nice and tight as you go, because if you have loose parts of the star, it's going to come into problem later. So at this point, we have this nice little box. So we're going to flip it over so our long sides here are on top, and we're going to fold it as if you were taking a cardboard box and folding those tops over each other. So what I mean is we're going to pick one and fold it over, and then I'm going to, we'll grab this guy, fold it over. I'm going to take this one and fold that over, and now our last one we're going to weave in. So it's going to go over this first piece, but weave underneath that first one we folded in. It's a lot easier on fabric than a cardboard box, in my opinion. So like that. And we're going to pull this nice and tight once again. So now if you notice, there we go. Hold on, I got a little fold there. Aha. So now all these pieces are laying pretty evenly next to each other. So we're ready for making our tiny points. They're similar to prairie points, not exactly the same. So I'm going to take this piece and I want to fold it. Just make sure I'm folding this the right way. Oops, nope, I want to fold it this way. So I'm going to take it, fold it like this, kind of create so it's parallel with these other two, which creates a nice little triangle there. Now I'm going to take this piece and fold it over like that. See how I have kind of a prairie point being made right there? And now this is parallel with that initial strip. And I'm going to fold it into itself. You know you have this folded the right way when you see the overlap here of the fabric on the top. And all we're going to do is tuck this in. However, I like to trim the edges a little bit. So I'm just going to trim that a little bit. Now I'm going to take this and I'm going to tuck it into the space of the fabric right there. There we go. And again, pull everything a little bit tight. And as you're going, if you want to iron those little points into place, it kind of helps them stay a little bit better. And I'm going to just make sure I got this one the right way. The next one, and you're going to work your way around again. So I'm going to get that one folded in. And this one, since it's on the other side, it's the opposite. So my prairie point is technically on this side, but we'll fold it this way anyway. And I'm going to fold it over. Again, we see this nice overlap, so we're doing it right. And we're going to trim this. Usually I like to trim it so that way the piece kind of goes right to the next fold here. And tuck it once again. See this little space here? That's where we want to tuck this in. Let's get that in there. And pull it nice and tight once again. And on to the next one. Now the nice thing about these two is you don't need to use any type of glue. I've heard from other people who've made bigger versions of them that they use a little bit of starch, like the Best Press. I haven't found a need for starch yet for the little guys. I wouldn't be surprised if the bigger versions of these would need it just because they're so large. But I find when you're done, if you just press it with an iron, it presses all these little points into place and makes them all permanent. So there you go. There's one. And at some point soon, I will have these instructions right on my website, alwaysthreadlightly.com. And once again, this video is sponsored by Schiller's Sewing Circle, schillersontheweb.com. Thanks, guys. Have a great night.